All right, what's happening, fam? L.A.R moving, still moving. This one's for Insensitive Bastard. Excuse me for a second. We have we have an agreement, um, but it's something about our agreement that was a bit out of context. So I'm gonna expand on that in particular. There's a part of my video where I said in general that um, MGTOW has a problem with you shouldn't turn your back on the community because you didn't get it that way. What I mean by you didn't get it that way is us as men, we didn't inherit the community and the condition that the community is in now. So we let it go downhill. That's one of the problems. See, in going your own way and walking away from the community. Not talking about the women, I'm talking about the community and the children. Even though the women will benefit off of it. I get that. When you walk away from the community, you walk away from the economic aspect of the community. One, which shoots you in the foot and sabotages you, because when you have no economic platform, you can't necessarily afford to go your own way, and you can't create a community that can afford to go its own way if it chooses to do so. Because there is no circulation of money, which creates poor or middle class or just frustrated children in general that will grow to be an adult who have no outlets or aspects. That's why I was saying I was using my community as an example. You know, when you don't have money, excuse me, um, what happens is people come in and they try to they make profit off of your um, not necessarily poverty, but lack of male leadership, who can who has foundations that are built up so you can actually circulate yourselves around and around, and you can afford to do whatever you want to do. So if you wanted to be a MGTOW, you at least had the financial independence to go off and do whatever the hell you want to do. But if you and Droles walk away from it, say I just let it just all go to hell, you yourself in time will slowly diminish to having in the poverty. And the community that you will probably have to return to will already be poor and look like shit. So now you start from ground zero, which you didn't have to do. And people take advantage of that. That's part of what talking about with Section 8 housing and welfare and system and single parents and single mothers, you know, WIC, food stamps, and alimony, especially alimony and child support, especially. So, in using Mikhail Tesla as a reference, right? Mikhail Tesla died penniless, like you said. The difference between Mikhail Tesla was you have to put the equation of all the people that were combined in that situation. You had Mikhail Tesla working with Westinghouse, who was his banker at the time. I think that because for alternating current, because he saw the profitability, whatever. He saw the money that could be made off of alternating current. Then you had Thomas Edison, who was was backed by Chase, who could see the profit in direct current, right? Now, Tesla dying penniless is a part of the MGTOW problem, because to a degree, Chase, Edison, Westinghouse still have things in their name that exist that are businesses that are profitable to this day, which I would assume pass down wealth to their descendants. Tesla, once he died penniless, that kind of forfeits the right to for his for his family and family that he didn't produce, for one, which I think was a problem. He had nobody to pass on that legacy to, so it really didn't matter if he died penniless or fucked it all off anyways. But if Chase or Westinghouse or Edison's great 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 grandkids wanted to be MGTOW or feminists, they have the business economic setup to do so because they have the platform to stand on, to have the freedom economically to go whatever way they want to go. Now, am I saying that, you can go to the wrong direction too, but they still have the opportunity and the resources to do so. That's my problem with MGTOW. It's thinking like feminism in a checker sense and not a chess sense. Plus, with the parenting, men have set up these rules, these laws, that feminists are taking advantage of. And men set up these laws that are MGTOW. Now the question is, what do these laws contribute to parenting? Unproductive, unskilled, dependent children, in my opinion. Because once you get the economic platform out of the way, what skill set are you passing down? You have no reason to pass down any kind of skill set that generates money, so you create a consumer class. Thus, the generation of shopping men who, in my opinion, because they were raised by women, do have effeminate mentalities, qualities, and logic, and in the need for validation and attention. So what do? They consume to get it. They don't create to get it. And the school system doesn't help, because the school system is taking creativity and critical thinking out of school, because you need that group mindset to filter in people who can keep the rich rich, keep the wealthy. The rich get richer and the poor get poor, as the analogy would say. Excuse me, I don't know what the hell's going on, but anyway. But at this point, you wonder, what's next? Because once there is no difference between a wealthy child, a middle class child, and a single parent child that's poor, in entitlement. The difference is in resources. And the resources can keep the wealthy child able to be stupid until somebody comes along, if they have kids that come along, to fix it. That's why generational wealth is what keeps people ahead of other people. Apart from that, that's what keeps people in poverty. Generational consumerism, which leads to the criminalization of people, because now, in the need to get stuff, you create a yearn to get stuff. And then creating that yearn to get stuff with no skills, it drives you to do what to make money? Because you weren't taught carpentry, you weren't taught agriculture, you weren't taught mechanic skills or to be a machinist. You weren't taught all of those things you weren't taught to construction. You weren't taught these things. So what do you know? The easiest things to do, which is usually dumb shit and criminal shit. So part of the schools criminalizing children, because you're already going to get criminalized as boys anyways, because boys act up This must be something innately bad in male behavior. You know, you take that on the racial terms, and it gets, the darker you get, the worse the criminalization gets. But because of that in itself, you got issues. And this all stems from lack of male leadership, right? Went their own way. And then with a lot of people who went their own way, I got a question, because you do get tired of being scapegoats. You do get tired of being blamed. You do get tired of not having anything in it for you to do the right thing. I understand that all too well. But you also, like feminism, have people suffering from a coping mechanism who are just into escapism, who never intended to be men in the first place, who are just effeminate or beta males who just use MGTOW as an escape to not do anything anyways and deduct responsibilities of being a man, even to self, community, or a child. So I question it, because the question about MGTOW is, has MGTOW even questioned the company it keeps? Just like one of the biggest problems with feminism is, as men, we can look at feminism and say, look, if y'all straight and y'all hanging with lesbians, y'all realize y'all can be saying the same thing and have two different agendas. Your phrase can be a double entendre. Same thing with MGTOW. You realize you may be straight men going your own way and gay men going your own way using the same rhetoric, which can create a problem. Or masculine men and effeminate men using the same rhetoric. Or creative men and lazy men using the same rhetoric. You might want to clean house. Because if you don't, watch your movement, which is why partially I don't agree with it, is going to be infiltrated the same way feminism was. Because you never took a good look at who's actually in the movement and what actually makes the movement, your movement, valid or invalid. You know, that's my thoughts on it. Gotta excuse me. I got a toothache or some shit. But alright.